and welcome. My name is Max, and today I'm super excited to show you around the 2023 Polestar P2. This is the 300 kilowatt dual motor version. They do also offer a single motor version, which is currently front wheel drive. However, the next model that's coming out for 2024 will be a base rear wheel drive single motor. However, like I said, this is the dual motor, so it's all wheel drive. Has about a little over 400 horsepower, nearly 500 pound-feet of torque, as well as a 260 mile range. And this one's as equipped with the Pilot Assist package, and the snow metallic paint is about $55,000. So I'm out here right now on the Gene Roach dry lake bed, which is outside of the Las Vegas city, about 30 minutes outside of the city. And I'm driving the Polestar P2 during my stay right now, and I just want to show you around the car, talk about my experiences with it, how I think of it, what I think of it as a car, what I think of the brand, and how I think it is compared to the Model 3, which I've had a little bit of time behind the wheel of, and just my perspective coming from owning a couple V8 Mercedeses, and it's just a very different car. But with the dual motor version, it's actually very fast. So let's go ahead and jump in. This is the car, and this is the key. It's a pretty simple key. It's got that Polestar logo on the side. It's got a panic button for your alarm right there. And on the other side, it's got your lock, unlock, and trunk button. Pretty simple key. I think it's a little bit cheap quality. I mean, it has a little bit of weight to it, but I think it feels kind of cheap for the price of this car. And it's supposed to be a premium car. When you go ahead and unlock the car, the headlights do a little animation. You can't see it right now during the day, but it projects a little pattern and does a little sequence. And the same thing with the rear tail lights when you unlock it as well as when you lock it. I think overall it's a very good looking car. So it's a sedan, but it does have a little bit of a crossover-y type look. It does have like the black cladding here, and the car is a little bit raised. So it's a sedan, but it does have a good bit of ground clearance. So I guess they wanted to cover, Polestar wanted to cover both grounds of sedan crossover, I guess with the market trends these days. I think the paint is beautiful. It's snow metallic. It's almost like a whitish silver, very beautiful color. And then down here you can see there's a little decal showing the model Polestar 2 300 kilowatt. Moving on back the car, it's got the light bar in the back. I think it's a pretty good design. I'm normally not a fan of light bars, but I actually really like the execution of this one. Moving on to the trunk, it does have a power lift gate, so you could also wave your foot just like that and it'll automatically open. There's also a button by the license plate you could push as well, and up here you do have a button to close it as well as to close it and lock the vehicle. There's a shade that comes up as well. You can remove that if you want, but it covers your luggage when that trunk closes. You don't have to mess with it. It's a pretty nice sized trunk. You can fit a couple suitcases back there. Pretty practical. And then you do also have a 12 volt over here, which is kind of annoying that it's not in the front. I mean, you could use it in the trunk, but I personally use a radar detector, so it would be nice to have this in the front to plug that into. And then down here you do also have some extra storage. You could lift that up, and then there's even a little prop right here. So if you go and lift that up, you can prop this in that spot right there, and it stays up. Pretty useful. A lot of things are really well thought out and engineered in this car. I like that. A lot of attention to detail. And then to close it, you can either push the button on the key, on the trunk lid, inside, or just wave your foot underneath. And it should just go ahead and close. There you go. Also, here is your front trunk. You do have a little bit of space in there. It's not too big, but you have enough room for your tire repair kit, which is great that they include that. You also have a jack right here, so it's nice to have that. A lot of new cars these days don't provide these anymore. This does come out as well if you do need a little bit extra space, but nice to have. You have your charging cable in here, as well as some adapters. This is also your charge port, very easy to open, just like a fuel filler cap basically. And then this is the button to unlock the cable if you need to. Very straightforward to use. I was able to figure it out pretty easily. Now hopping inside the car, it does have keyless, automatic power folding mirrors, and I think it's a very good looking car. On the inside it has some very unique materials. Everything's soft touch. This one does have like a fabric kind of textile kind of material. I think you can get leather with the premium, and I actually just noticed this right now. It's pretty cool. On the seatbelt right here it says since 1959. Stepping in the interior of the Polestar P2, you do get a little bit of a Volvo vibe with the steering wheel and whatnot, but overall it's a very nice looking interior. Like I said, just have that kind of soft touch textile material everywhere, as well as this it's a very nice textured kind of material that carries on throughout the interior, throughout here, the center console, as well as that knob. You have a big vertically mounted infotainment display. I actually think it's pretty simple to use, straightforward. You have a home button down here. You have Google Maps integrated, which I absolutely love. Your audio functions over here, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as Google Voice, which is integrated as well. Your camera's up here. Another menu over here. You can go into more detail. Over here, you have some owner and driver's profile settings. Your settings are down there. Like I said, home button's down here, pretty easy to access. Your climate's also here, so if you swipe up from there, you can bring up a full climate menu. And I like how there's permanently some shortcuts down here, so you do have the seat heating buttons down here you can play with, as well as just some basic climate options, but you can go into more detail right here. If you click that, you can choose the zones. The car's not on right now. Okay, there we go. You can choose your zones just by clicking it. And then you do also have some physical buttons down here for your front defrost as well as rear defrost, which I really like. It's nice to have physical buttons these days, especially for important things like that. Go ahead and turn that off. You have your parking settings up here, as well as you can have auto driver, seat heating, passenger, and whatnot. So a lot of adjustability in there. And then you also have Google Play integrated in here. So I'm pretty sure this infotainment system runs on a version of Android. So you can play with different apps. You can download stuff while the car is in park. You do have a digital instrument cluster right here. So I like that compared to the Model 3. I hate how it's there's no digital, there's no instrument cluster in the Model 3, and it's all in the center right there. I think it's a little distracting. So I like having that there. And then when you have the Google Maps going, it has everything projected on the screen right there. Very nice, very simplistic, and easy to use actually, with the steering wheel mounted buttons right here. And overall, it's a very handsome design. You can see that pattern kind of flows throughout the dash and throughout the entire car, even going to the back seat. And then even the mirrors of the car are very cool. It's a frameless design, so you can see it's one piece, and then when you want to adjust it, it actually moves the entire mirror. So as you can see, when I adjust just my settings, it moves the entire mirror housing, which is really cool. I've never seen that on a different car, on any other car before. And they also are power folding as well, so that's them folding in, which they also do when you lock the car. And another super cool feature about this car is the wipers. It actually sprays the washer fluid out from the wiper itself. So if you look carefully, you can see it sprays out from the middle and all the way the length of the wiper housing. Two-way memory seats down here, as well as electric lumbar adjustment and electric seat bottom. However, your reclining is manual, which I don't like on a car at this price point. And moving on to the back seats, it's pretty nice, same quality. Headroom is not the best. I'm about 6 feet tall myself, and my head is just grazing the, I have maybe like half an inch of room on the ceiling. However, my knee space is pretty good. I have the seat set for where I would sit, and I do have a couple inches of room right there, so that's pretty good. I have space for my feet down there. In the rear seats, you do also have some USB-C charging ports, as well as up front. You have your vents back here, very cool. A lot of adjustability back here for the vents. And then moving over, you do have your center armrest right here, as well as a pass-through to the rear. Cup holders in the back. However, I don't like how there's only 2 cup holders in the front, and they're very poor cup holders if you ask me. So that's one right there, which I have my drink in, and then the second one is actually inside the armrest. So if you want to have one for your front passenger, you have to open your armrest, which you'll then lose while that's being used. You could also pull it out for some extra storage space, which would be nice, but then you lose the cup holder. And then this armrest does slide forward and backward, but if you slide it forward, then you lose both your front cup holders, so that's just wonderful. Center console right here, I really like the design of it. It would have been nice to have more space, but there is a little cubby right there on the side, as well as your door pockets, but the cup holder thing I think could have been a little bit better thought out. But I do like having this physical center console, and the shift lever right here is very substantial. I love the feel of it, and you have a button for park right here. And then to get driving, you just hop in the car, put your foot on the brake, and put it into reverse drive. That'll let the car power on. You have cameras right here. It's a 360 camera with guidelines. You can look to the side of the car, to the front of the car, whatever you need. The car has parking sensors as well, rear auto brake. Very nice, resolution's good, and even when it's in reverse or forward, you can see it's kind of curved, so it has like a wide angle view, so you can see if people are coming from the sides, if you're backing out of a spot. And then also when you put the car into reverse, it does make a beeping noise, so it's not like the Tesla where it makes that little fake electric whirring noise. This actually beeps, kind of like a truck, but a little bit more of a graceful sound. So I'll show you what that sounds like. for different driving modes, you have a light, standard, firm, as well as an ESC sport mode, and then one pedal drive for your regenerative braking settings, and then a creep function, which will allow it to creep forward if you take your foot off the brake, like a internal combustion engine car. So besides that, you have your different assistance menus right here, as you can see. A bunch of them. Your charge mode settings, you can adjust how much it'll charge to, car status, and a bunch of different functions right there. Very easy to use, straightforward. And then, in terms of driving, I'm here on the dry lake bed right now, but even on a bumpy road, it just takes bumps super well. And then the steering feel, very, very direct, very linear. I prefer to drive it with the standard mode for the steering feel because firm feels a little bit too artificially heavy, and then light is good. I mean, if you like a light steering feel, it's quite light, so it makes a pretty big difference in each setting. So standard, I think, is a pretty nice balance. All right, I'll do a little launch right here. So we are on the dry lake bed, but I'm sure with the dual motor it'll hook up just fine. So there you go. Just stabbed it. All right, and that's about 70. And keep in mind, like I said, it is a loose surface right over here in the desert, but it does pull extremely hard. I mean, when I had passengers in the car after a couple launches, they said, okay, can you calm down a little bit? We're starting to feel a little bit sick. So it does have a lot of power. It's definitely not a Model 3 performance, I'd say, but it will throw you back in your seat, the dual motor. And now for what I'm sure you're all wondering is, will it do donuts out here? So let's find out. I've got ESC in sport mode. I'm not sure if you can turn it completely off. Let me see if it does anything if I click and hold it. And it's not, no. So you do only get an ESC sport mode. Apologies for the wind noise, but as you can see, the Polestar 2 Dual Motor loves to have a little bit of fun and get loose if you want it to. It was pretty easy, actually. I just put it in ESC Sport mode, put the steering on light, just it's a little bit easier to slide the car that way, and then that's about it. Broke it. If you keep your foot pretty much mashed down the entire time, it'll break loose. I also turned regen off, just so when you let your foot off the gas, it doesn't kill the slide. But overall, it's pretty controllable, pretty easy. Being all-wheel drive, it's a little bit hard to, you need a little bit of room if you want to do donuts with it. And overall, in terms of the car, I really, really like the Polestar car as a brand. I think compared to Tesla, the quality is just a whole lot better. The car feels more special. It doesn't really feel like an iPhone. When I get into a Tesla, it feels like you're driving a giant iPad. But when you get in this, it still feels like a car. The interior, you have a dash, you have an instrument cluster, and overall, you have a lot more attention to detail. It's not trying to be kind of gimmicky or super techy. Not that Teslas are gimmicky, great cars. In fact, they have better range than this, more performance, and they're cheaper. But with the Polestar, I think you're getting a little bit better quality. Sorry, it's super windy, but there's not a single Polestar, inscription anywhere on the car. It's just that little Polestar badge, so it's a little bit mysterious. First time I saw it on the road, I was like, what is that? It was only like the Thor's hammer on the headlights that kind of gave it away as a Volvo product. And then the power is great. I mean, from a standstill, super nice acceleration, about 4.5 seconds 0 to 60. Handling, I think, is great. Overall, the car is pretty rigid, I'd say. It feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel cheaply put together. It feels very nicely made. And over bumps, it absorbs them really well. There's no creaking, no rattling at all inside the interior. You push against stuff, everything feels tight, well screwed together. You can really, compared to a Tesla, with a Polestar, I think you're paying for quality, build quality, which Volvo has really good reputation for. They've been around for a long time. Techie, I mean, in terms of tech, the car's very techie. Maybe not as much as a Model 3, but if you love tech, there's a bunch in this car. If you're in the market for a Model 3 or any almost luxury electric sporty-ish car, I'd say. This is a great contender to look at. I mean, if you're in the market for a Model 3, I'd also recommend taking a look at this one, driving around, see how you feel. If you want more of a traditional car feel, I think you're going to get that more with the Polestar as opposed to the Model 3. And I personally like that as an enthusiast. I feel a little bit more at home in it. But let me know what you all think of Polestar down in the comments section below. I'm curious what everyone thinks about it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. It really helps out the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all next time.